Okay, boys and girls, we want to be on page 114, 114. 114. We're going to read and discuss our story before we take a little quiz on our story. And this is our Dear Primo story, a letter to my cousin. And the first thing I want us to notice is our genre or type of story. Genre is the word we use to describe the type of story. And this story is, everyone, it is realistic fiction. And when we look at the word realistic, we see the smaller word real in it. So a realistic fiction tells a story about characters and events that are like those in real life. So what type of story is this? What's the genre? It is what? What is it? Realistic fiction. So this is a story, it did not happen in real life. These are made up cousins. But it could happen. It is not a story that happened, it is realistic fiction. Everybody say realistic fiction.
Realistic fiction.
It's realistic fiction. Say that again, everyone.
Realistic fiction.
So that is the genre of the story. It is realistic fiction. So realistic fiction has characters who can act like real people, who do act like real people. And they live in a time and a place that seems real. This is like real. It can be told through the eyes of a character or characters. Now we know who this story was told by because we've discussed it many times. This was told through the eyes or through the letters of Charlie and Carlitos. And letters, this story was told through letters, and it began with a reading and a closing. So that was how this story was told. So let's start with our story.
Dear Primo, a letter to my cousin by Duncan Tonatia.
And we're going to discuss it so we are ready for our quiz.
Score! I just got a letter from my primo, my cousin, Carlitos. I live in America, but he lives in Mexico, where my family is from. Maybe someday we'll meet, dear Primo Charlie. How are you? Do you wonder, like me, what life is like far away? I live on a farm surrounded by mountains and trees. My family grows many things, such as maíz. We have a burro, pollos, and a gallo. Every morning, the gallo crows and crows. Maíz, burro, gallo, pollos.
Okay, could somebody tell me, where does Carlitos live? Where does he live? Elisa?
Mexico.
Mexico. And what does he live on? He lives on a farm in Mexico. One of the cool things about this book is it's got Spanish words in it, right, boys and girls? But it's got labels. So we can see what a gallo is, what a burro is, so we can see what all the Spanish words mean because they're labeled right next to the picture of it. So we don't even have to wonder what those things are. We can look at the picture and we can see.
Dear Primo Carlitos, I live in a city. From my window, I can see a bridge and cars zooming by. I can see skyscrapers too. Skyscrapers are buildings so tall they tickle the clouds. At night, all the lights from the city look like the stars from the sky. Every morning, I ride my bicicleta to school. I ride it past the perros and past the nopal. Nopal. Perros. I ride the subway to school. The subway is like a long metal snake and it travels through tunnels underground.
Oh, so what does Charlie say the train is like? What is the train like? What's the train like? Ethan?
A long metal snake.
Like a long metal snake. So that paints a picture in your head, doesn't it? So that's like that. Oh, what do we call language like that? What do we call that type of language? Olive? It is a sentence. Yes. Avery? It's figurative language. And that's a simile. Remember when we use the word like or as to compare something? And so doesn't that paint a picture in your head? It paints a picture in my head. I'm imagining that train, and I'm imagining it like a snake going through the subway tunnels. Long, and I'm thinking it's going like this. Who here's ever been on the subway? Underneath the city, yes. Very cool. So you can imagine that. If you haven't, you can imagine it.
At recess time, I play football. My friend passes me the ball, I kick it with my foot, and if I score, I yell, "Goal!" Goal! I play basketball. My friend dribbles the ball and passes it to me. I jump and shoot. The ball goes swoosh, nothing but net.
Oh, could somebody tell me, what do they call soccer in Mexico? What do they call soccer in Mexico? What do they call it, Ivy?
Football.
They call it football. They call it football. What do you think they call it that? What do you think they call it that? Anybody have a guess? What do you think, Teddy?
It's the Spanish name for soccer.
It's a Spanish name for soccer. What do you think, Kelsey?
They probably call it football because they're kicking the ball with your foot.
Yeah, maybe because you're kicking the ball with your foot. That's pretty fun. Probably why.
When I come home from school, I help my mom cook. My favorite meal is quesadillas. I make them with cheese and tortillas. Quesadillas. Tortillas. In America, we have lots of different foods. My favorite is pizza. I like getting a slice on my way home from school.
Oh, what is Carlito's favorite meal? What does he like to eat? What does he like to eat? Logan. Quesadillas. What does Charlie like to get after school? What's his favorite thing to eat? Jensen?
Pizza.
Pizza. He likes to stop and get a piece of pizza. That sounds like so much fun. Wouldn't it be fun to be able to stop after school and get a snack from someplace?
How about he's hungry?
Yeah, they're hungry after school, just like you're hungry after school.
After I finish my homework, my mom lets me go outside and play. In Mexico, we have many games like trompos and canicas. Trompo, canicas. My favorite game is papalotes. My friends and I run, and with a little wind, we fly the papalote high up. Papalote.
Would we be able to fly a papalote today? Let's look out the window. Everybody turn your head, look out the window. Is today a good papalote day? No, probably not. No wind. No papalote today. Maybe tomorrow.
When I finish my homework, I play games with my friends from the building. We play by the stoop and in each other's apartments too. I like going over to my friend's home to play video games. Video. The word video describes a recording of movements and actions that you can see on a television or computer screen. In the afternoon, it often gets hot. To cool off, I jump in a small rio that is nearby. Rio. In the summer, the city gets hot too. I like getting splashed by the fire hydrant when the firefighters open it up and close off the block. Hydrant. A hydrant is an outdoor pipe firefighters use to get water to put out fires.
So how?
Block. A block is a section of a community with streets on all of its sides.
So how does Charlie cool off in the summer? What does he do to cool off in the summer? What does Charlie do? Avery?
He likes getting splashed by the fire hydrant when the firefighters open it up.
Yes, he likes to get splashed by the fire hydrant. That sounds like so much fun.
on the weekend, I go with my parents to the mercado, an open-air market in the town nearby. We sell maíz and tunas, a prickly fruit that we grow. We also buy the food and other things we need. Maíz, tunas. On the weekend, I go with my mom to the supermarket. She brings a list: milk, toothpaste, soap, and I check off the items as we put them in our cart.
What is a mercado? What's a mercado? Kelsey?
An open air food market where people go there and they buy the food they need.
Yes, a mercado is an open air market. An open air market. So that's important for us to remember. Open air market. Everybody say open air market.
Open air market.
Yes. Oh, no, I don't want to.
In the town from time to time, they have fiestas that last 2 or 3 days. At night, there are cohetes that light up the sky and mariachis that play and play. Cohetes, mariachis. In my city, sometimes we have parades. People in costumes and uniforms march down the street, and everyone gathers around to watch. Costumes. Costumes are special clothes that people may wear to pretend that they are from another time or place. March. When people march, they walk with even steps, often in a group. There are charros in Mexico that I wish you could see. They do tricks with their caballos and reatas. Charros, reata, caballo. On the streets here, you can see break dancers who do flips and spin on their heads. In Mexico, we have so many traditions, such as Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. My favorite tradition is attending the December parties called posadas. At the end of each posada, there is a piñata filled with fruit and sweets. When someone breaks it, we all get to jump in.
Oh, what's at
Piñata.
What's at the end of the posada? That sounds like so much fun. What do they get to do at the end of the posada? Libby? From what? The piñata. They get to break open the piñata at the end of the posada. So what do they get to do at the end of the posada, Ethan?
They get to
Look at the picture. What are they doing?
they're breaking a piñata.
They're breaking a piñata open. The piñata.
In America, we have traditions too, such as Thanksgiving, when we eat turkey, and Halloween, when we dress up and go trick-or-treating. But I have to stop writing now. My mom just told me I have to brush my teeth and go to bed. I have an idea. My Primo should come visit me.
Oh, and look, they did. So boys and girls, what idea do both boys have at the end of the story? What do they both think? Elisa?
They should visit each other.
That they should what?
Visit each other.
They should each visit each other. And boys and girls, how are the boys' neighborhoods different from each other? How are the boys' neighborhoods different from each other? Olive?
Well, Carlitos lives in Mexico. That is in a small town.
He lives in Mexico in a small town, okay.
Carlitos lives in a big city.
Charlie lives in a big city.
Charlie lives in a big city in the USA.
Yes, he lives in a big city in the United States. And so, what's different about that? Can you give me a detail that makes a difference?
One's a big city and one's a small town.
One's a big city and one's a small town. Do you have something to add to that?
The houses are smaller than the big buildings. But
Okay.
The houses that are smaller in Mexico, the big buildings are.
Yes, there's big buildings in the city. And in Mexico, it looks like there's mountains, right? Mountains and a lot of empty space. It looks like there's a lot of, I don't know, ground. It looks like there's a lot of earth and space around Carlitos. So, how are their lives similar? How are their lives similar? Similar means the same. How are their lives the same? Ivy?
They both go to eat after school and
They both go to eat after
they
school.
both go to the grocery store.
They both go to the grocery store. What else is the same? Teddy?
They're all part of the same family.
Okay, but yes, there's part of the same family, but I want to know the things that they do that are alike. Yes, Elisa?
They both have traditions.
Yes, traditions, but I would want you to name some of the traditions they both about their traditions. They both have traditions.
Thanksgiving.
One has Thanksgiving. They both don't have Thanksgiving because they don't have Thanksgiving in Mexico. But they both celebrate traditions. But you can name, like one has Posada, one has Thanksgiving. Libby? How about how they cool off? How do they do that?
They both get wet.
They both get wet. They both like to cool off, right? Logan?
They both go outside and play after their homework.
They both get to go out and play after their homework. That's good. Olive?
They both like stuff with cheese.
They both like things with cheese. Yes. Yes.
At recess, they both play with a ball.
They both play with a ball at recess. Avery?
They both like to cool down when it gets hot.
They both like to cool down when it gets hot. There you go. They have a lot in common. So they like to do the same things, but they do them in different ways. Very good. So now I have your quiz for you. It should not take you too long to do it. But I do expect you to write complete sentences, some good sentences here for your answers and the short answer ones. Now we've discussed everything that's going to be on the quiz. So I say to you, good luck. I know you're going to do super duper, right?